to frame out how we're going to go about this today and make sure you're in the right place. Some people are like, am I in the right meeting? Is this the right spot? So this is the StreetText kind of demo. It's one of the first steps to getting the best use of your trial. So you came to this either because you set up a trial with StreetText. Maybe you connected to your Facebook account, you went as far as launching an ad and even saw some leads come in, and now you're like, now what? What's happening? Or you stopped, went to go connect to your Facebook page and you're like, yeah, not so fast. I don't know what this is. I want to learn a little bit more. Or you haven't even started a trial. You're just looking at us. So just know we want to make sure that you get the best experience using StreetText. And that involves us kind of helping you and showing you. We built the tool. We know how it's working. We know our agents that are having great success. We know what their stories look like. So we just want to paint that story for you so that you can have an experience where you can then decide whether this is a fit for you or not. So at the end of the day, our business is as much as the amount of people that we can meet and be in conversation with. It's all about conversation. It's all about relationship. It's all about meeting people. We're living in something called the attention economy. When you learn how to capture people's attention and keep people's attention, you're going to win in this attention economy. The thing is people's attention spans are smaller than a goldfish right now. We've only been on this webinar for 4 minutes, but I believe some of us have already had time struggling being attentive to one task. Is this true? We have low attention spans. So how do we capture people's attention? Where do we go to capture people's attention? Well, the first place that most people are nowadays, I mean, like literally rolling over bed, picking up their phone, they're on their phones constantly. Their face is in the book. So how do we meet new people on social media? The only way you can do that is Ads Manager. You might have a friends list, you might have people you already know, but there's people within your community. And in the US, we're particularly going to talk about this 15-mile radius of people in your community. Canada, we can shrink and change your influence a bit. But if you want to meet new people in that circle, you have to use the Ads Manager on Facebook. Here's the problem. Anybody use the Ads Manager on Facebook? Yeah, how is that? How's that going for you? We like to call the Ads Manager on Facebook the labyrinth of frustration. It's like an extremely confusing labyrinth of frustration. You get in there, you think you've possibly maybe launched an ad, and a lot of people that come to us that have tried to do stuff on their own with the Ads Manager often say things like, I think it's doing okay. Like I got some likes, I got some comments, I'm not really sure what it's doing. So we want to change that conversation and that feeling for you, feel less powerful or feel more powerful by being able to use that Ads Manager in a powerful way to go after exactly what you're looking for, conversations with new people. So don't log into the Facebook Ads Manager. The way StreetText works is you log into your StreetText.com account. You launch one of our simple to use templates that have already been built out and proven. The templates work. There's a 60 to 67% click to contact ratio. That means 60 to 67% of people that are clicking are leaving you some form of contact information. Industry standard is anywhere between 2 and 5%. So we're head and shoulders, the creative is already figured out, and we're going to teach you that today. You got to build an ad that doesn't look like an ad, that doesn't feel like an ad. Because if you build something that looks like an ad and it's intrusive to people's news feeds, Facebook's going to charge you an arm and a leg to show it. So you need to learn how to build something that looks like it's in the news feed and is offering value to people and starting conversations. So we've built the creative around it. We're going to teach you that first part. The second part, which is the big takeaway, even for people who, have been doing this for a while, they say, I never realized that. I never realized the impact of that on my marketing budget, is Facebook makes a judgment call on your ad within the first 24 hours of running it based on how the first 500 people react to that ad. So you can have an amazing ad with great creative that's been split tested like crazy and landed really well. But if it doesn't land on the right customized audience in that first 24 hours, Facebook's going to deem it as not relevant and they're going to charge you a lot of money. And what does that mean? You meeting less and less people. You can take the exact same ad and Facebook could randomly pick a different audience that reacts differently and have astronomically different results. So that's the important thing we want you to take away from this. This first webinar is the most important thing that you're ever going to do is to learn how to build relationships and follow up with leads. That's where our heart is. That's what we love to do. But if you don't have new leads coming in to follow up with, you don't have that problem first. So let's create the first problem. new leads coming into your inbox. So that's what this webinar is. Good ad performance, lead flow coming through Facebook ads. And then we're going to talk about, we'll start to drip on it today about the communication that's connected to that. So these ads already have funnels built out. So when you launch them, they're going to be getting automated text messages and automated emails. So the conversation's already going to start for you. So our first step is get you into really good ad performance. And then the second step is introduce you to our community who's leveraging this in amazing, fantastic ways. And they're very like generous and abundant mindset where they share what they're doing. So don't try to reinvent everything. Just learn what the people in our community are already doing to build with those leads over time. So let's go through step one by getting into someone's account. So we're going to grab someone's account who's in trial. We're going to walk you through and screen share and show you what that seller's template that you launch when you first do trial looks like, so you can see what the ad is and how it works. And then we're going to really dive down on how you make sure that ad gets a fantastic performance. So who has a trial account that we can use and demo with? I saw a hand from Miriam. It was very casual, like you can pick me. I'll let Troy look that up. Every day it's different. Some days we have people just stare at the screen, and other days we have like, I haven't even finished. Who has that? People like, me, pick me.
Yeah, I'm curious too. For everybody who's here, use the use the message chat feature for this question. How many of you have generated Facebook leads before? If you have, say me. If you haven't, say never. Just so we know kind of where your background is. Never,
Lots of me's, never.
Okay. Because it's really important to understand the mindset of somebody who's on Facebook versus somebody who's actively searching, right? And kind of assume that everybody is just curious or in, you know, a discovery mode on Facebook. So you never want to follow up with a lead if you've never, if you know Facebook leads. You never want to follow up with that Facebook lead assuming that they're ready to sell their home today, because they'll quickly say, get away. I'm not going to, right? Like it's a no, like, and trust model that will quickly really hammer on home. So yeah, I'm just curious. I'm glad. Thank you for answering. Okay, go for it, Troy.
Awesome. Well, let's get started here. So one of the things that we do recommend when you first come into your dashboard here is to activate your auto text responder. What this is going to set up is it's going to set up Julie. And we have a Julie on the call here today, so you might want to change Julie's name. Your virtual assistant, and that will allow anybody who then leaves a phone number, they will get an automated text message from her within 3 minutes. So it's just a matter of coming through here, selecting this, and you're going to select a local number. And I believe, Miriam, that your local number is 702. So we're going to set that up and then get that rolling. So later on, we can show you actually how all this kind of pulls together. If my screen loads here. My computer's slow today. If we can't get there, we'll do it later. Oh, there we go. All right, so it's just a matter of selecting your country, run a local area code, and see if the number is available. So you just select one, and then Julie is created, and you're all good to go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna walk you through the best practices of getting this ad set up. So you go into your funnel section here, and what you're going to find is you're going to have 3 funnels available to you in trial: a seller, a buyer, and a listing funnel. We're going to talk mainly about the listing funnel right now because this is one of our top performing ones, and most people are interested in seller leads. If you're interested in buyers, then you can connect with your coach, and we'll walk you through kind of some of the best practices as far as setting those up. But as Ira mentioned there earlier, you can see here that this funnel has a click to contact rate sitting right now at 61.5% across 15,000 active funnels that are out there right now over the past month. All right, a couple numbers to note as we head into this is the average cost per lead across all of North America for capturing an address sits at just over $2. The average cost per email sits at just around $6. So when you head into this and we start generating leads, these are kind of numbers to take note of, because what we want to make sure that you guys hit is these average numbers. Now it's going to vary from market to market, depending on where you are. If it's a higher end market or super competitive market, typically these numbers will skew a little bit higher. More rural areas, they'll be a little bit lower. right? But we'll work with you to make sure that we get the best lead flow and ad performance coming off your ad. Because at the end of the day, Facebook is just, they're going to take your money. So we want to make sure that we set up this funnel with some of the best practices. So Marcus, do you want to guide us through best practices as far as setting this up? And then we'll have Logan talk about the importance of doing a split test.
Absolutely. So you look at this and just click select. That's the first step here. Some of you don't may have just started your ad just straight up from the trial, and feel free to turn it off if you feel like, because we're about to show you the best practice. The practice that you set it up with may not be necessarily the best practice. So if you quickly show them really quick in the ad section, Troy, how to toggle that ad off if they already have one on, because some of them may have not taken consideration the 15-mile minimum radius that we're about to talk about. And that's...
We'll come back to that because Miriam doesn't have any ads running yet.
Okay, good. Okay, click select. And when you actually get into here, Miriam, if you have, like, if you can unmute yourself real quick, that'd be awesome. Tell me where you would drop a pin if you were to drive north, south, and east and west for 15 miles. Because of the Housing Discriminatory Act, everybody in the United States has to work within a 15-mile radius. So what would be the most center location for you that you'd be willing to sell a house if you knew you were have to potentially drive 15 miles to sell in?
Marcus, we can make this easy. She's in Vegas.
Oh, you're in Vegas. Oh, you have to use the unmute button there too if you wanted to unmute yourself there, Miriam. Do you see that right there? It's on the bottom.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought I have unmuted myself. So I'm in Vegas.
Yeah, awesome. So in Vegas, is it like, because you can use, let's do this first. Let's go and bypass the step altogether, Troy, and click next. And instead of typing in Vegas here, click on the drop a pin button and just put in Vegas, Las Vegas. There we go. And now when we do that, I want you to click this little square so you can see what 15 miles looks like in Las Vegas. Because if you use Vegas as your center point, you're going to actually be looking at that as, okay, I'm also hitting up Henderson and Paradise, North Vegas, Spring Valley, and so forth. So is this the ideal circle for you, or would you like to move this a little bit?
No, that's perfect, actually.
Okay, awesome. So there you go. In your case, great. In other people's cases, consider an address that comes to mind, because you can move this circle wherever you are. Go ahead and move it there, Troy, just to show what's possible. But you've got to always consider that the 15 miles, wherever you go, there you are. You gotta move that and drop that pin to what's ideal for you. So you start there, because once you have that locked in, go back to Vegas as your center point. And what you're gonna do is just basically click escape on your keyboard, or you can click that box there. It'll bring it back down, and you're gonna click done. And what you're gonna see here is we start right here. It's a coordinates of a longitude, latitude, basically. So you wanna make sure you're not typing in your location on the targeting location. You end up, you've done it right if you end up with a pin drop with those weird numbers, right? And then you go back and you actually search the address. So in your case, you're just using Las Vegas, so we can do that. And the reason why we started with the pin drop, everybody, is because you now can see the visual what 15 miles looks like. And then you go back and adjust your image to reflect what that 15 miles look like, because you're speaking to all 15 miles. So let's light it up with the map instead of the satellite that it's defaulted on. And this, you actually, you're gonna toggle zooming in or zooming out accordingly, but for you, it actually almost sets you up perfectly. You don't even have to toggle. But for anybody that uses an address, you probably would zoom out at least 2 clicks to give you that perfect 15 miles. Or else you're not recognizing the 15 miles. If you were, for example, zoom in a couple of times there, Troy. Like if I zoomed in right into that, it may not give me the ideal. And in your case, actually, 15 miles could be a perfect scenario too, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of speaking to everybody there. So you got to just recognize your audience first and foremost. That's why the pin drop is the best place to start. Come back and then adjust your map using the zoom in and zoom out feature, recognizing that you have a map, a satellite, and a terrain feature that you can utilize. So it doesn't have to be the typical map. You can actually click on a box that says terrain, and it shows kind of the mountains in the area. But I would start off with the map because it's generally a good, easy way to start. And then up there on the very top, since you're not just talking to Vegas, you're talking to some communities outside of Vegas as Henderson as well. What we found works best is that you replace the city and or neighborhood with some home emojis from a website called emojipedia.org. And so this emojipedia.org has a little home emoji. You literally just copy it and place it in your city and or neighborhood. And when you do, you can drop one, you can drop three. We kind of have fun dropping three sometimes. What it really does there is it takes care and it draws their eyes up and down. They're going to recognize the map because they live in that area. And also because we adjusted that map to reflect that 15 miles, the targeting is taking care of your audience. The map has been reflected with the targeting and zoomed out accordingly. And the home emojis speaks to the entire 15 miles instead of just saying Vegas. So that's the best practice. And then essentially, once you got that, it's the easiest clicking next, 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 and launching the ad. And what it's going to do, it's going to ask you for a daily budget. We leave it at 9 because it's been tested since 2016, I believe, at $9 a day. And it's a fast way to get in front of an audience, just fast way to make an educated, informed decision based on the feedback. And then we leave the box on Facebook. Don't click on Instagram as well until later on. We'll work with you as a coach on that one. And then your estimated commission, that'll be more important to you based on what you can spend for a lead moving forward, because it'll calculate that as well. We have a built-in calculation that takes in consideration 1.5% conversion of leads, as well as 5 times return on investment. So you can update that when you launch that ad, and you can also update that in your ad section. But do we have permission to launch this ad for you here?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, we'll click deploy. And that's the best ad. Now, Logan, I'll pass the mic to you to talk about the split test. When we launch one ad, why are we going to go pick back up and launch a couple more of the same variety?
Yeah, I mean, it's really important to understand how Facebook is operating here and how the algorithm works. Now, what they're going to do is Facebook needs to decide how much money to charge you on this ad. Right now, what they're going to do in order to figure out how much they're going to charge you is figure out how relevant the ad is. So what they're going to do is they're going to predict future relevancy. Let's say that we've dropped the pin in the middle of Vegas like we did here, and you've done 15 miles. Now, let's just say there's 500,000 people who live in this area. I'm sure there's more, there could be less, who knows? Well, let's just say there's 500,000 people who live in that particular area that you've targeted. Now, Facebook needs to understand how this ad will stand the test of time. After it's reached everybody in this area, how will the group have reacted to it? So what they're going to do is they test the first 500 people that see your ad. And then they take that group's reactions and then apply that to the bigger audience, saying, if this is how this small test audience reacted to this ad, then this is also how the larger audience is most likely going to also react. So you're at the mercy of 500 random people to set how much you're paying per click on your ad, and also who is best suited to continue seeing your ad. So in order to, make best use of this, what we recommend is don't ever rely on one ad, right? Build 3 ads. You could build more if you really want, but my recommendation is 3 seems to work the best. So build 3 ads, perfectly identical, nothing different with them at all, exactly the same imagery, ad copy, they're running at the same time, the same ad spend. Our idea of a split test is a little bit different than what you would typically consider a split test, in that you're split testing creative. For us, the only thing that we're testing is that test audience. Again, you build an ad, the first 500 people that it reaches sets everything that's important to you. So if you build 3, you now have 3 unique test audiences to see which one reacts best to your ad, right? So we know that in almost every area at $9 a day, you're going to reach at least 500 people within the first 24 hours. So we're not talking about running 3 ads for weeks at a time. Of course not. Build 3 ads, let them run for 24 hours. At the end of that, you have an opportunity to say, okay, which one hit the best test audience? There's nothing different with the ads, but that audience is going to react differently to it, right? So you find which one hit the best, turn the other two off. You're now left with one ad that should last you weeks, months, and sometimes a year or more without you having to make changes to it, so long as you've targeted everything appropriately. But again, this is the part where I'm going to open it up and ask anybody who has any questions about that to ask them, because no matter how many times we say that, 3 exact identical ads, people don't seem to get that because it seems so counterintuitive to anything you've ever learned in your past. But just understand how important that is. 3 ads, 24 hours, pick the winner. So I'll open this up to everybody here. Anybody have any questions on ads or on what Marcus was going over and what Troy and Ira have mentioned so far? Anything so far?
There's one question in the chat. So Rachel is asking, how do you know which one was the best? Which metric are you looking at for that info?
For me,
I can share an example.
Sure, yeah, and I like 4 different categories, 3 being ad metrics, 1 being lead quality, and we're going to be able to work with you guys in your area, with your coach. We'll be able to go through your metrics and say exactly, here's what I would expect for that price point and to get to the kind of ROI we would expect for you. But the 3 categories in terms of ad metrics we're looking for, and I don't know if you want to share your example yet, Troy, or not, but the 3 things that I'm looking for are cost per click, cost per lead, and cost per email. Those 3 ad metrics. And then at the same time, especially if you have 2 that are somewhat close, you then go into the contact section, and from there you can see which ad brought in which lead. So you can start to figure out, okay, this ad is a little bit more expensive, but it's bringing me in all my phone numbers, right? That would lead me towards, I'd pay a little bit more money for higher quality leads. But again, you have an opportunity to work with Troy, Ira, Marcus, or myself, and literally this is what we do. We investigate ad metrics in particular areas and make sure that things are set up appropriately for you. So really lean into what we have to offer here. Yeah, Troy, I don't know if you're really good at explaining this part, so if you want to just go ahead and take that over.
Yeah, so this is an example of a split test I ran with somebody in trial. So 3 ads, walking through the same method of building out the ads that we just walked you through. All 3 ads have the same imagery. They have the same little house emoji in there. They're all being launched in the exact same area. So they're using the same targeting. And we let them run for a 24-hour period. And of course we had a winner and we kept that one running. But within 24 hours here with this first ad, you can see here cost per click of $4.42. So with a $9 a day budget, that would only allow 2 people to click on the ad. And that's what happened. So we had 2 clicks and total spend of $8.85, and it generated 1 lead. Fortunately, that lead also left their email. So when we break down the metrics there, out of the ad spend, that lead cost a full $8.85. And we also break down that email to that as well. So we come over here, this one had a cost per click of $1.49. Much better, allows a whole lot more people to click on the ad, which is exactly what happened. And it generated 2 leads. And of those 2 leads, only 1 left their email. So we break down that ad spend of $10.43. It works out to $5.21 per cost per lead, and cost per email sitting there at $10.43. So a little bit better on the cost per lead. And what we mean by cost per lead is somebody who's left an address. And we come to this final one here, cost per click at $1.36. So even slightly better than the previous one. And this was our clear winner. So when we broke down the cost per lead, it worked out to $1.36 per cost per lead, and cost per email sitting at $3.39. So a huge difference between this ad and these other 2 here. Now, can you imagine if we launched only 1 ad and it just happened to be one of these ones, hit the wrong audience, and you're only generating 1 email per day, right? Versus this one where it's almost 3 per day. And many more leads.
On that.
Yeah.
Just real quick, just so I can make sure that I'm following along correctly. So the only thing that's changing on these 3 ads is the audience that Facebook is showing the initial 500 people to.
Correct.
Is that correct? And after they find the right audience for it, they're going to take that ad that is performing the best. You're going to shut the other 2 off, and they're going to continue showing that ad to the right audience that's performing the best. So that way you're not hitting other audiences that have lower metrics that are coming in. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
That's
100%.
100% what it is. And I mean, if you, again, you build an ad, this 500 people, they're all in that same area, but this 500 people happen to get targeted with ad A. This 500 people get targeted with ad B, and another one with ad C. How those individual groups react to the ad sets up everything. And imagine let's just say, for instance, I'm a great lead, right? I'm a homeowner. I'm ready to sell my home tomorrow. You want me as a lead. I'm a great lead. However, let's just say my wife and I were just arguing about our house. So right now I'm a little bit angry about a home. Facebook's done its job of putting your ad in front of the right person, but I'm having a bad day. I go ahead and put an angry face on it or comment negatively because, once again, I'm not having a good day or whatever the case may be. Facebook then thinks they had the right person. They got the wrong reaction from that individual, and they say, okay, this isn't a good ad for this area now, right? It's so luck of the draw at that beginning point. That first 500 people is so crucial. So enhance the likelihood of tapping into a better overall group. Build 3 ads, again, nothing different. Yeah, and then exactly like you said, after you've had that performance set and you can tell which one's hitting the best audience, you should be able to ride that ad for quite a long time and then pause the other 2.
But that's it. The only thing that's changing is the audience, though.
100%. And because that's the one thing we can't control. When you consider the scientific method, it's always keeping as much control as you can and limiting your variables. In this case, we have one variable that no matter what we do, we have no control over, and that is that test audience. So let's control everything that we can control so that we know that the only variable is that test audience, right? And if you don't find good ad performance within 24 hours on any of the 3 ads, that happens very rarely, but it happens. Pause all 3 and start again. You will find, if you do this the right way, if you have the right imagery, you have the right copy, and you target this the right way, you will find relevancy. Sometimes it takes a couple cracks at it, but that's what we're here to help you do.
Yeah, I think the one thing we frame it as is the one thing that's changing is that audience's response to your ad, because their response means everything. So that's why even likes, even comments that are negative, Facebook says, good job, you built an ad that looks like it belongs in the newsfeed. It's not a distraction. People aren't just scrolling past it, they're actually clicking on it. So once they decide that your ad is relevant, they reward you with a low cost per click, which means that you can meet more people. So we want a low cost per click and the type of people that are leaving emails. So it's really that audience response and that randomized audience across that 24 hours that dictates how your ad's going to act. So you're really at the mercy of variables that are outside of your hands. So you're going to go to Vegas, you play 3 cards to see which one's going to get you the best results instead of just sitting back and seeing what one does. You just might land on everybody. For example, a ton of you are from Toronto right now. Everybody in Toronto who was in a bad mood that day and didn't click on your ad. It had nothing to do with the ad. It just had to do with the audience that saw it and what the response was to it that day. Facebook's goal is to keep people's attention. So when you build an ad that's attention getting, they reward you for that. So we have any more questions in there?
I have another question for you. So we've seen some examples of what the seller's leads are looking like, but what is an example of a buyer's lead that you're putting out there? Most of the examples that I've seen has the map that you guys have in there and what they would get for their home. What other type of ads are you guys running? Or ad examples?
For me, we've got all sorts of ads, and we consider ourselves a solutions-based company where most of us are ex-realtors, and we decided, what do realtors want? What are they looking for? They're looking for sales. We want to have the sell side dialed in, and that's what we focus on. That's what we've done. And then over the last few years, we've been having more clients coming to us and saying, you know what, I want buyer's leads as well. So we started running buyer's ads. Now, the problem we found with the typical buyer's ad was you get a lot of clicks, you get a lot of activity, but there was a lot of looky-loos because it's very much get a list of homes in this area under this price. Now you're going to get lifelong renters who see that ad and go, I want a list of homes in that area under that price. So you get a lot of tire kickers and we had a lot of issues with it, I guess I would say, and I wasn't super happy about it. So again, we as a group came together and said, how do we make that better? So what we figured out, what works on that ad is add an amenity. Instead of a list of homes in this area under this price, it's a list of homes in this area with a pool under that price. Homes on land, homes near transit. And as soon as you add that extra little amenity, you get people who are more in market, more people who are thinking about a particular item. And that improved our quality of leads considerably. So then we thought, okay, that's working. How do we make this even more exclusive? So the best thing that we've come up with that works really well is we have a ad template creator that allows you to advertise your own listings. So instead of saying, hey, do you like an idea of a home? It's, do you like this home? And people say yes, they click on it, they leave us their information. We can have them directed automatically to your website where they can check out that listing, get all the information as well as any other ones that you have. And we found that the click to contact ratio on that one is extraordinary. The quality of leads that are coming through is extraordinary. So if you're looking for buyers, the best recommendation I have right now is to advertise your own listings. And again, using our template builder, it takes you 15 to 30 seconds to build a full advertisement of one of your listings. And you can connect it to custom automations. You can come to my custom ads class and I show people how to build, email structure, text message structure, a whole automation behind your listings if you want. Lots of cool stuff we can do, but yeah, if you're looking for buyers, best thing to do is advertise your listings. And if you don't have any, not a problem. Go to somebody in your brokerage, somebody on your team, somebody who's close to you, and advertise one of their listings as the same way you would an open house. Yeah, I mean, further to that, there are typical buyers ads, and we can do all sorts of things to find you both sides of the deal.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? Go here.
I have a question. So you were using my page as a template, and it was showing that there is an email. Where I can see that email, because I just click on the ads and I don't see any emails. Is that something that I cannot see yet, or does it come strictly straightforward to my email address?
So I'll show you here. Any of your leads that come in, they're going to be captured in a step-by-step process. And what we do is first capture their address, then they're going to go to the next step where it's going to capture their email, and then the next step where they can enter their name and their phone number. And what I recommend for each and every single one of you guys is to go into the ad section and click on view link. That's going to take you right to the landing page that as though I've actually clicked on the ad, and you can capture yourself as a lead and see what that experience looks like from that perspective. Now, as far as the emails that go out, there is a 9-month drip campaign. And if you go into the settings, the gear in the right-hand corner here, you go into all emails, you're going to see on the seller side there's a 9-month drip campaign built out, starting with this very first email right here after submission. So that's the one that gets fired out to them immediately when they submit their email. If you click on edit, then you can see what it says, right? So, hi, just wanted to let you know I've received your Facebook request for the property valuation and I'm on it. Are there any updates or recent renovations that I should be aware of? Right, so this is what's built out for you. Right now, it's a little bit cookie cutter. It's what we set up for everybody. So you really do want to consider what is the experience that you want to give these leads as they come in. Keeping in mind that when they click your ad, they don't know anything about you. They don't know, like, or trust you yet. They saw this ad in their newsfeed, piqued their curiosity. They recognize, oh, hey, yeah, I live in Vegas. Oh, yeah, I'm kind of interested in my home, my home's value right now. We don't know if they're looking to sell in 12 months from now, or they're just curious. So it's about discovery. But now consider, if that email comes into your inbox, what do you want them to experience of you? What do you want it to say? What is the tonality that's in there that you want to kind of talk about, right? Marcus is like a big proponent of that first initial experience. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Marcus?
Love to, Troy. So you got to understand, this is digital door knocking 101. You live in a virtual world. The key to this is, if you've never met this person, they've never met you, you got to create an opportunity that feels like it's authentic and genuine. And there's no other way to do that than leveraging video. So everybody who's here has ever heard of the system called BombBomb? In the chat feature, okay, tell me if you've used it, if you have it.
I didn't like the BombBomb. I like the Videolicious better.
Sure. We're not picking who's best. We're considering that at the end of the day, you got to create a system that the moment they submit their email is the moment they meet. So I don't care what time they come in. It can be in the middle of the night. They get an autoresponder. They know they're going to be working with you face to face. It's as if you were at the home. Knock, knock. Hey, hey, this is Marcus with Remax Kelowna. Thank you so much for your Facebook home valuation request. I will be working on it shortly. It could be as simple as that. It could be 10 seconds or less. But body language and tonality is what begins this know, like, and trust model. If you put something in there that just is generic right now as is, good luck. Good luck. It's like playing the slot Vegas. You're going to win every once in a while, right? But if you want to beat the odds, you got to know the game, and the game is all about connection. And so Facebook Messenger, free 99 tool, you can connect with somebody face to face, right? Leveraging Messenger, leveraging video, BombBomb, Videolicious, Dub. Those are all systems that allows you to get in front of somebody, both on the automated level and the personal follow-up. Because it's one thing to actually track your cost per lead. It's another thing to actually track your cost per open, which we do. You can show your open rates. But then essentially the key, I think personally, to like the holy grail of an automated email responder is one that gets open, one that gets an introduction from you, and a question that gets answered, right? So they're not going to answer you if they don't feel like they can trust you or if they don't know who you are. It's their most important decision of their financial lives, give or take, right? So why would they trust you with that information if they don't know who you are? I was just curious. I was just on Facebook. I was scrolling down my feed. I don't want to sell my house. They might want to actually sell their house, but they're not going to just tell you that until you create that moment of discovery. So that's where we work with you and show you the model for that. Because at the end of the day, you can generate dozens and dozens of leads, but you're going to quickly find that if you don't incorporate your brand, your voice, your personality, your body language, there's no connection. And the connection is going to be hard for you to get, other than the rare exception of somebody maybe financially, relationally, or something that's happening in their lives where they actually need it. So that's where I would suggest make sure you connect with your coach and look at different examples of what we do. We have conversion workshops as well that you can come to Tuesdays and Thursdays. And you can actually join us as we talk about the specific subject.
Yeah, one thing I just want to quickly add on that. Looks like Troy is going to show us Marley's video, which is phenomenal. And really what the guys are talking about here so far is adding video to your autoresponder and adding your personality. And again, consider the importance of this. With StreetText, we don't do any kind of lead sharing. When a lead comes through your dashboard, your account, it's yours. We don't give it to multiple people. But I have always done this to myself. I've always, in my own career, imposed upon myself an assumption that 5 to 10 other agents got the exact same lead at the exact same time I did. And there's 2 reasons for that, of course. The one we're all very familiar with, speed to lead. You better get something to them quickly. That's fair. But what's as important as the, speed at which you get somebody a message is the content of that message. Automations never used to be a big thing. Right? I mean, back 10 years ago, if somebody reached out to you and you got back to them within 5 minutes, it was mind blowing. It was like, wow, these people are on it. That's not how it is anymore. Every single one of you should have some form of automation, but consider that message you're delivering them. If I've clicked on your ad and you respond with that first email that Troy showed us, that's in Miriam's account of just, hey, I've received a request. I'm working on something. We need more questions answered. No personality. The likelihood of me responding is very low, but also the likelihood of me opening up subsequent messages, it's next to nothing because I was expecting something of value and I didn't get it, right? So either that first message better be the CMA that said it was coming, or better yet, an explanation as to who you are, what this is, and what I should expect moving forward. Right? So if 5 agents send that same lead, the same kind of email, and mine includes a video, that again is adding my personality, who's getting the callback? I can almost guarantee you I'd be getting that every single time. So really think of that first message that you are delivering to your clients and understand that that's setting the stage for everything that is to come with that individual.
Here's a great example.
Hi, I'm Marley with Elevate Real Estate. I got your request for the home price evaluation and I am on it. Oh, by the way, I left a link to my Facebook profile page below. I'll just be sending you a really quick friend request. Want to make sure you get a chance to meet me. We'll talk soon. Bye.
Simple, authentic, genuine. I want to connect with Marley. Like, she's cool. And so I think that's the key. Like, you all have your own superpower and strength, and it's not saying, you know, you got to do that. You don't have to necessarily connect on Facebook, but you got to create an element of authenticity and that person feel like they want to connect with you and answer you, and then that you're being genuine and looking in, because in this case, even if we're talking about home value and I'm just curious, underneath the surface of that just curious is a lot more. And you'll never know until you create the opportunity to connect. And so there's another, I'm gonna share with you one of my favorite ones. Do I have the ability to share, Troy?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So if you look at the way Jessica has her email positioned here, number one, great opening subject line. Received your Facebook or received your request from Facebook, capital letters, for your home valuation, and I'm on it. Personal video included, but perfectly formatted in terms of some text context, video, and then questions. It's not just the typical, hey, you know, have you done any renovations or updates recently? It's got, what do you love most about your home? How long have you lived there? And what would you consider the best feature of your home? So that really, it's all about them, right? It's not about you. It's not about you, it's about them. And so if you really think about it that way, you want to get them to talk about their home. And that's where you begin the conversation. Cool. We'll show you a lot more of that. I mean, we have masterminds every Wednesday. We welcome to that, where you can meet the community. You can see some of our highest converting agents. And Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have conversion workshops. So you're here for the demo today, but we just want to let you know there's a roadmap that includes our Facebook group called the StreetText Insider. If you're not a part of that, connect with your coach. We'll get you inside of that, as well as an academy course that we've designed with many examples that we can get you as well. All right, take it away, Ira.
Yeah, so you're probably all wondering about pricing and all that, because that is a big determining factor. So let's go in and share our pricing model. The way we like to frame you out in terms of the right mindset to make this work is the longer that you're at this, the greater success you're gonna have. When you go into it with this like immediate, like it's gonna turn over kind of feeling, when you don't get a response from somebody, it propagates that idea that this wasn't immediate. And we don't want to sell that to you. Do people get like leads in trial that end up as listings? Yes. But we don't want to be upfront and say that that's going to be everyone's experience. Because when you set yourself up with that expectation, you're just looking to lose on social media. Social media is a place where you can meet amazing people, but it's the same as like going to dinner with someone and asking how many kids they want. Like you've just gone on a date and you're like, how many kids do you want? And it's like, no, sorry, we just met. So that's the same as when you meet people on Facebook. You need to nurture the relationship to grow it. So when you have that mindset over things, you have greater success. So we always advocate for our 1-year membership and offer the best value with that. So when you log into your account on your welcome dashboard, you'll see that you can just scroll right down to the bottom and there's a little button that says ready to sign up, and all of our plans are accessible in there. So there's 3 of them in the drop down menu. There's a 1-year, there's a 6-month, and there's a 3-month. So when you pay for the 1-year upfront at $19.20, you renew at $160 month to month after that. When you pay for the 6-month upfront at $1,020, you renew month to month after that at $170. And when you pay for the 3-month upfront at $600, you renew month to month after that at $200. Your trial is really set up so we can show you what ad performance looks like. So we want to make sure that you see what type of ad spend is going to get you lead flow. So I'm working with somebody right now, for example, in Peterborough. The leads are flowing in like crazy at $9 for him. So he's just like, I can't keep up with them. Let's lower my budget so I can keep up with them. So he can run at a lower budget and he can still have a tremendous amount of lead flow. If you're in different areas, your lead flow is going to be a little bit different, but that's what trials set up to show you. So you can see, is $9 a day going to be an effective spend for me to get in front of the amount of leads I want to get in front of, so that you can factor in your Facebook ad spend on top of that. The most important part of this is once we get you good ad performance, it's really about is this for me? Do I want to learn how to follow up with these people and get connected with this community? And that's what membership's all about, is learning the other side of that lead. When the lead comes in, how to best follow up with them. That's all the classes and everything. For example, Donna Swansea, she's done over 200 deals with StreetText. She was a school teacher and changed into real estate. She teaches her entire strategy in a course where she shows you how she followed up to get to 200 plus deals. We just stopped counting. So that course you actually get for free when you sign up for the 1 year. We give you her process and her strategy. But we have other people like Jennifer, who recently just shared in our insider group that during the height of COVID, she met a lead that came in on a Facebook ad. So they came in through the seller ad that you just saw. She virtually walked through that person's townhome with the phone to look at the house. She listed their house, sold it during COVID. And then she posted a little video to our insider group a couple weeks ago with her driving to help that person move into the house that she helped her buy. And then at the other side of it, she said, not only did I find a seller and I helped her buy, she's also an amazing person and we really jive well together. And she's actually going to be a good friend. Like, I've developed a friendship. So people like that share how they're doing it. That's the key. Is sometimes as a realtor, you feel like you're off trying to figure everything out on your own. We encourage you not to do that in our community. We're like, get the lead flow and then come back and let's share and collaborate over how we grow and build relationship and influence in our area in real estate. So next step, does everybody know what their next step is? If you have started a trial, you have a coach. It's either Troy, Logan, Marcus, or myself. If you have no idea which one that is, any communication that came into you from StreetText, just reply back, who's my coach? I always see people like, are you my coach? Are you my coach? Text us like, who's your mama? Who's your coach? Who's your dad? So just let us know and we'll give you a little link. We'll tell you who your coach is. If you don't have a coach, it's probably because you didn't start a trial. So you go to StreetText.com, click the start a trial button, and you'll get assigned a coach and we'll get you up and running. If you want to just send us an address to pinpoint to help you get that ad up and running, that's a great way to start. But we're here to kind of guide you. Social media is kind of like a gigantic elephant. When you try to eat it, it seems quite impossible, but you can do it. You just got to take a bite at a time. So we want to give you the information a bite at a time, get you into the academy, get you into the groups, get you all the steps so you feel pretty powerful and confident using social media instead of frustrated and confused and abandoning it.
Yeah, I want to second that. Also, the trial is for you to test it out. There's nothing to tell you that you actually have to sign up right after the trial. It does cancel by itself. But we want you to be a part of the community, whether or not you sign up or not. So part of what we love to do is invite you into the insider group because we know it's all about timing. We want you to have the tools. This may not be ready for you right now, but a month from now, 2 months from now, a year from now, it could be. In the meantime, join the community, be part of the group, see what people are doing, what their successes look like, what type of processes they have. This way, when the time is right, you'll be ready, right? You'll know the integrations they're using, that you know that the typical time it takes to nurture these leads, and so forth. So that's what we recommend. Join us at least at the very minimum. Have a one-on-one with your coach. If anything, I would say take this opportunity right now to send them the address that you want us to set up your split test from. Just text them the address. We can help you set up the split test. This way, when we meet one-on-one, we're talking results. We're talking the game. And that's what I've done with a few of you already. And you already have results. I think I'm talking to, who am I talking to here that's got results? I think you got a couple of them. You can unmute yourself. Yeah, there you go. What's that?
Yeah, I had emails and leads starting to come through already. So
it's coming. It comes fast, right? It comes fast. You quickly realize you have to go in there and start personalizing things. I think you're cutting in and out of it, but anyways, yeah, connect with your coach. Send them a message. Send them the address that you want to use as a pin drop. We can help you set up your ads. And then we can have a great opportunity to meet one-on-one about those results and put together a game plan to help you start getting those leads talked to, right? Think of it as a conversation. All you're looking for is a two-way dialogue. And that's it. Don't think of anything else. Everything else will naturally come into fruition if you start about how do I get a conversation started, leveraging both the SMS, leveraging your emails, and that things naturally come into play. And if you have if you get a phone number, just simply pick up the phone, make the call, and introduce yourself and say, hey, you were probably just randomly on scrolling down your Facebook news feed when you saw my ad. I just wanted to let you know I'm personally working on it. I just have a few quick questions. You know, always make it easy to connect with somebody. Don't say, oh, you just put in that you wanted to sell immediately. I'm here to actually list your home. You know, I would never start with that type of answer. Just assume that everybody's just naturally curious until you can get a conversation about what their true motivation is. Awesome. More of that, you guys, when we connect with you. Thanks for coming today.
Hey, one last question.
Yeah.
Marcus, where are you at, man?
Yeah, I'm in a utility trailer in my backyard in Vancouver Island. I have 3 boys under the age of 6 and another one on the way. So, you know, this is my escape.
He's hiding from them all.
I love it. I've been curious ever since you started talking. I'm like, where's this dude sitting at, man? I thought you were like part of the tiny house movement or something like that, you know, like camping around the country, you know?
Marcus, show them the yurt.
Yeah, I have a yurt we're building in the backyard too. And yeah, there's lots of fun projects, but this is kind of my workstation. This actually used to be my wife's podcast station. She had a TV show with Shaw previously. So I kind of took it over and now it's my work environment.
That's cool. Good dad.
Thanks.
Yep.
Okay, guys, we'll be connecting shortly. If you have any questions, just send a message to your coach and we'll be doing a one-on-one Zoom together. So look forward to it and we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks.